Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is October 15th, 2024. Denise, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Gio,
Here.
Mr. Hardin,
Here.
Mr. Lansky,
Here.
Mr. Newman,
Here.
Chairman Canestra.
Here.
Thank you.
I'd ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to go right to the first item on the agenda this evening. This is the application of Horst and Wanda Michael. Is that pronounced? Michelle or Michael?
Yeah, that's the current.
Yeah, that's
owner.
the current owner. I'm the contract vendee.
Okay, but that's the owner, Horst and Wanda Michael.
Yes.
Okay, so this is an application for a proposed dwelling with less than the required lot size and width at the front lot line, as well as 2 side yards in an R80 residential district at 27 Sun Hill Road, Tona. Sir, if you could give us your name and address and what your relationship is to the application here.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Burheb. I'm from Jamer Engineering, civil engineer, and making the application on behalf of Michael Festo.
Okay.
So thank you for going over the details. So again, it's 27 Sun Hill Road in Katona. It's currently a 1.05 acre lot in a R80 zoning. So we're going for a variance of about just over 34,000 square feet. The current frontage is just under 130 feet. Required is 200, so a variance of 70 feet. And it's currently a 67-foot, or proposed, all of this stuff, 67-foot 2-yard setback, where required is 95 feet. There's currently a small frame structure there. They call it a seasonal residence. But that's proposed to be demolished, as well as the shed in the back for this proposed single-family home. The area all around, I mean, it's all very similar lots. This is one of the last remaining vacant lots on Sun Hill Road. As you can see, I passed out some more information. All the lots are very similar size, shape, frontage, and similar setbacks. So the proposed dwelling is going to be similar to the characteristics of the street. And that's it. I also passed out some photos just showing the lot, the side lots to relationship to the neighbor to the north and south. You can see on so the lower pictures are taken from the rear of the lot. This is looking south to the neighbor on looking at the GIS map, the neighbor below. This is looking north, and that same pictures from the roadway. This is looking north to the neighbor on top. This is looking left to the neighbor below. So even though we will be below the minimum side setbacks, we'll still have pretty good tree coverage. Also, the neighboring lots are located in similar areas.
Yeah, for an R80 district, there's certainly a lot of lots smaller than R80. So that regulation, obviously, or requirement put in after most of these town homes were built, Tom, is that what we could assume here?
We did our due diligence and research to see if this area was ever upzoned. We weren't able to determine that there was nothing in the past zoning that proved that. The pulled some files from the neighboring properties and saw that, you know, it was R80 back to the early 70s. It was the CEOs, the documents in the building, and the neighboring files had R80 zone on them.
Did they have variances?
No.
Could all of these houses have been built before that 1970s?
I didn't research all that.
I'm just curious. I mean, that seems like it just seems very odd. I've never really.
I thought so myself. That's why I did some research.
Just mentioned that, that particular area, since grew up in South Somers and that's part of South Somers, that
Mhm.
street's been there as far back as I can remember. I mean, I was living there since 52.
Okay. So houses must predate 1970.
It's either that or it was overlooked, one or the other.
Most of them do, I'm sorry. I'm
Okay.
like,
Yeah, we'll have to wait. Yeah, just, so, yeah, we'll definitely hear any comments you have.
Well, it looks like the pine trees predate.
Now, on the property, there's a white building. Is that the house
Yeah, and the front,
on the front?
yeah, the one in the photos with the red.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those.
got red on top and then white down below. That's the house that's existing.
Correct. No, sorry, that's the neighbor.
That's the neighbor.
It's the, you could see from street views.
You call this a seasonal residence?
That's what the current owner called it.
Hold it. Is that the house?
Yeah,
Shed?
a seasonal
the house.
residence. I don't think nobody
Tear down.
lives there. It's proposed to be demolished for this application.
How big is the current house on the property, square footage, approximately? It's all white, right?
Yes.
It's less than 20 by 30.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be like
It's covered.
100 square feet at the most,
I think
maybe?
even less.
So
It's only between that and the shed, it's only 1% site coverage, so that's 450 square feet. So,
is somebody residing there?
No.
no, not currently, nobody
Yeah.
there.
Is this a legal structure as it sits? If I wanted,
That's a very old structure. That predates.
okay.
You could move in though.
Only you. Okay, and does this current structure have a driveway off the road?
No,
It does not. I was gonna say, it looks like it just sits there.
yeah,
So what do they do? Just pull up on the grass and park there?
as far as I know, nobody lives there, has lived there, so I couldn't speak to that, where they park or how they get there. There's also 2 trees in front of it, so
Okay. And then you said in addition to this small white house,
there's
also a shed in the back of the property?
a very small shed at the back of the property that,
You see that back there?
Yeah. Was that the outhouse?
Okay. Does the current owner own any of the adjoining properties?
no,
Now, if I look at one adjoining property to this property, that certainly looks like it does meet the R80 requirements. Ones to the other side, right down the row, certainly not.
correct. The one just to the north is just over 2 acres, almost everything, and that's at the end of the,
Right. That looks like complying with R80 zone.
Yeah.
Certainly, there are many other lots that seem to fall short of that.
yeah, they're all very similar to the lot, under this application.
What's the square footage of the house you're proposing to build on the lot?
I believe it's 3,300 square feet.
3,300?
Yeah.
Two-story?
Yes,
That size and stories consistent with the other houses
yes,
across the street and
Yeah.
Yeah.
down the road?
yeah, they're all roughly 3,000 square feet, give or take, some smaller, some larger.
What style, this is gonna be colonial style home?
Like a farm style home.
Farm.
There's, I believe,
There's an elevation diagram.
Yeah.
that kind of gives a little bit.
that's not final, that's still preliminary.
Mhm.
But this, as far as the size and the footprint is final, as far as the final details of aesthetics of the home is.
Mhm. Is the owner of the property a recent purchaser or owner, or is this a long-standing owner?
I believe it's a longstanding owner and my client is purchasing the property, building the home.
Probably would like to know if they can actually build a house on it.
Correct.
That-
We're here.
Okay. Okay.
in terms of trees, so obviously there's some coverage on both, sides, right? All of those
Yes.
trees remain?
The only trees coming out are for the curb cut into the driveway, toward the right side of the property. I think it's 3.
Yeah, and it looks like that building is surrounded. I assume those would have to, right? Is that,
The, the smaller,
unless that's going to be, that'll become the front, where that building is now, would that be the front yard?
yeah, you could see the, on the, site plan, there's the, existing and proposed. The building is in the front yard.
Okay,
The house is set back.
those trees could all stay in the front yard.
Correct. The house is set back, behind that location, so we only plan on removing what's needed for construction.
Curiosity here, a lot of the lot seems to be lawn.
Yes,
Like, why isn't it woods?
I don't know.
I'm just curious, if you know.
No, we
Normally-
honestly don't know.
A small house like this, it might be a small house and mostly woods around it. But here, there seems to have been a lot of work clearing the property or whatever.
Yeah, we don't know much to the history of the lot, but the owner was selling it as a pretty much as a vacant lot. So I mean,
Guess somebody did their homework and figured out this is an R80 district. You might be
Yeah.
a little bit short here, right? So
Right.
it seems like, okay.
So that building is very close to the street currently.
yes,
Yes.
it's not it's within the current setback of 40 feet. We're gonna be 70 feet back, which is, I think there's it's a 40-foot setback. We're proposing to be 70 feet back, well within that. This current building is not.
Your proposed site plan, bottom left right there. I see where the proposed driveway is, house. It then looks like junction boxes. I assume that's septic fields.
Correct. Well, the boxes are the drywall Coltech system, and then below that is going to be the proposed septic field.
Right. And is that an expansion field next to it? Is that?
Yes.
Just.
Yeah, we're in the process.
All that kind of stuff, right?
Correct.
Okay. The existing well is, as you indicate, to be reused and is operational again?
Yeah, we're gonna have it tested, that it should be operational, and then hopefully, and then reuse it and file that with the Board of Health.
Are you anticipating a change in the location of the house, either closer to the road or further back? Or is this really where you have this,
No, this is
Yeah,
pretty set, right? Yeah, this is representative of what we plan on building.
it seems like you go to the back of the property and the slope gets a lot steeper.
There's an existing stone wall in the back, and then the property drops off, so
Oh, it
Plan-
drops down, okay.
yes. So we're planning on, it's a little steep coming in, so that's why we set the house back that far, in more of the flatter area, and then try to use as much of the flat space behind it, and then we don't plan on doing anything behind that stone wall with the slope behind it.
Yeah, the steep slopes, you'd probably be prohibited from doing that.
Yeah.
Any comments on this kind of anomaly? I mean, I guess it speaks for itself, but it's just very odd. I've never seen a neighborhood with so many non-conforming lots.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of,
it's not unfitting. The application's not unfitting with the neighborhood.
A lot of the lots, like south, are almost the exact same square footage, exact same frontage. It looks like it was part of a subdivision a long time ago.
Well, yeah.
They almost too perfectly. So
right.
I don't know. Again, like, we don't know too much of the history.
Now, if we come up the road here, it looks like there's a turnaround or cul-de-sac, but then the road continues?
It's a paper road.
Is that just paper road there?
Yeah, it's currently just a cul-de-sac and it ends.
It looks like to get to those future lots, the road's probably gonna extend it somehow.
I think that's environmentally sensitive.
Okay.
The side yard setback,
you have it listed, side yard setback 40 feet, side yard setback 95 feet. The side yard setbacks are that different in our code? Is that,
For
Yeah.
for that zoning district, yes, that's what it is.
that's unusual, no?
That's the way it's always been for as long as I can remember.
What's the, do we know why? Like, one of those is more than double the other one?
I don't know what the thought process was.
No, I
When
think
they-
the
they-
two is the combination of
The-
both, of,
Oh, the two is a
40,
combination.
right.
And 55.
All right, so,
40 and, yeah.
okay, so it's 40 and 95.
yes, 95 total.
Okay, and so you're asking for a variance.
Really only on one side. On the driveway side, we're within the 40 feet. The other
On the
side,
other side, you're asking for a variance of the combined.
correct.
Okay,
So your variance is 28 feet.
Yes.
on the combined.
It's kind of weird though. If it's 40 and 40, why wouldn't 2 yards be 80?
You go.
Wait, that's, so, or why isn't he asking for a side yard variance on just the one side? Why, because he's,
This-
has that variance
The
that
zoning table lists it that way, so I
followed the zoning?
I follow the zoning table.
Okay.
Yeah, our 40 is 30 and 60, so you would have 30 and 30. But for some reason, our 80 goes
40,
40 and
95.
95, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, the square footage is a large variance that normally not approve, but that makes the lot unusable and it doesn't seem to be inconsistent with the neighborhood.
Well, it's an existing lot.
Right.
So there's an argument that the lot has a residence on it and it's existing, and so we are just working towards, and he's decreasing the front yard setback. So he's coming closer into conformance, on that piece.
We're tearing down the old house and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're getting away from a
Well, yeah,
house which is out of character with the neighborhood. Both by location.
we didn't find, there was no records of it, but the current house would need a side yard setback. It would need a front yard setback plus the lot width and the area variance to be there
Yeah, so
first place.
so it is an existing lot.
So we're actually gonna be, I don't have the dimension, but pretty similar to the side. But we're actually going for less variances than what the current structure would require.
so Tommy, if anybody in this neighborhood with one of these lots less than 80,000 square feet wanted to do anything on their house, would they have to come before us because the lot is non-conforming?
It's in a, well, so if a lot is approved, my opinion, as part of an existing subdivision,
Mhm.
and that plat is filed, then that lot is approved. So for the size of the lot, I think there's a good argument that you wouldn't need a variance.
Because the lot's already.
If,
But if you're gonna come and put a house there, and the house, the house location was not approved at the time that the subdivision plat was approved, then, and then you go to put a house there, then you need side yard variances or
Right.
all that, but the lot itself was approved at a certain time. You wouldn't, some places wouldn't require you to have an area variance for that.
there was one of the files of the neighboring properties, had a variance for a side yard setback for an addition to an existing dwelling.
So you wouldn't necessarily deny it
It
because
didn't-
of the
it
lot
didn't-
size.
That variance didn't encompass less than a lot of area either,
Right.
the proposed addition.
Right. Have any of the neighbors spoken to the owner or either of you regarding this issue or any discussions? I mean, we're going to open up to public discussion if anybody wants to hear
Regarding the zoning,
it. Regarding this issue in
no,
the house?
I don't know if
You don't know of any?
they're aware. Yeah. No one's,
Well, they would have been notified.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got mad.
no one's,
Neighbors in the vicinity.
yeah, no one's mentioned anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same reaction that you did, Vic. I took one look at this and I thought, there's no way, this is just too big. And then I I was looking at Google and that give you a thing. And I said, let me go to the parcel. And I looked at the parcels and I said, well, wait a second, something's
Yeah, that's why I,
exactly the same as everything else. And I mean, whatever that thing is that's there, I mean, it's hardly a residence. It's
Yeah.
like
Summer bungalow.
cottage or a cabin or something. I
Right.
don't, it's a,
I think one thing we have to be cognizant of here, though, is that, it should be 80,000 square feet. This lot is only 45. What if a lot in the neighborhood comes to us and is 20,000 square feet? Just because we approve the other ones doesn't mean we're
so
going to
this,
do that.
so this is in conformance with the other houses which are constructed.
Right.
That's
I
the
would
applicant's
say-
point. And if somebody showed up with a 20,000 square foot lot, it would not read the same way as this GIS map does, where all the lots are the same. And so there are a couple of small lots across the street which are built, which
Yeah.
appear to be 25,000 feet or something like that.
There's a few ones. They look smaller. They actually are an acre as well. They're similar size.
Okay,
They're just
yeah.
not as deep. Yeah,
So
they're a little wider, not as deep. So
everything about hitting at least 2,000 square feet.
they are. Yeah, I listed them all. They are all very close,
This does look like
over an acre.
a neighborhood that was a subdivision, in particular because of the cul-de-sac. And because of how the lots are actually shaped.
Right.
And since they were all built, and this one probably had a pre-existing dwelling at the time the rest of them were built, it was left alone. It would seem to be part of a common planner scheme
Right.
and
No, certainly.
fit the pattern of the neighborhood. And so while I think it's a large variance from a percentage basis, I think from a neighborhood basis, I would be in favor of it.
now, and you're here on behalf of the owners.
I'm here on behalf of the potential buyer pending approvals, of course.
Can we grant the variance? Who's requesting the variance?
I am as a contract vendee, so I'm in contract right now, subject to approval.
So you're requesting it on behalf of,
And so,
or
And all the paperwork filed.
Right, with the
And-
owner providing permission for
Yes.
my client to file on their behalf.
okay,
I think one of the requirements for the ZBA application was a signed document or affidavit from the current owner granting me the access.
You have to have authorization, so to
Yes.
speak.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
to make this application
Yes.
because it's not your property right now.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, why don't we take this out to the public online? Let's just see if there's any comments. We can have further discussions and analysis here. Paul, if we could take this online, anybody who's watching the meeting now can call into one of the numbers on the screen. Just enter the meeting ID number and we can bring you online if you have any comments and questions. I'd ask if there's anybody here in the audience who would speak in regard to this application. There is no one present other than the applicant. So we'll just give it a minute or two. Other comments from the board members?
No, I do not.
Okay. I mean, it's a very odd situation. I don't think I've ever seen before where such a large variance, but it seems to be consistent with the rest of the homes in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And us not approving it, it's a dead lot then, so.
It's, I'm sure the neighbors on either side enjoy an empty lot in between. Sort of like, this is sort of like sitting on the, when you get on the plane and it's about to take off, there's nobody in the middle seat, you're really happy, and then they show up at the land.
That extra real estate was nice while you had it, right?
I've been maintaining the yard, or the lawn.
Somebody's been maintaining that lawn.
Current owner, I guess.
So they've been cutting the lawn. I don't know if they hire it out or they do it themselves.
Alright.
It is maintained.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big grassy area there. Let me just see here. There was also, a letter here from the engineering department. Brief review of the materials submitted with the subject determination has revealed that a steep slope permit, stormwater management and erosion and sediment control permit, and tree preservation permit administered by the engineering department will be required for the construction of a new house, septic system, driveway, related site work as depicted on the site plan. Right, they all have to be submitted prior to issuance of a building permit.
Yeah.
And then you gotta visit the Department of Health and get approval. And of course, you need ZBA approval, which is us. You're aware of all that, and
Yeah, we're doing our deep test with the DOH on Thursday. Everything is basically ready to go to engineering as far as steep slope.
what is your plan as far as taking down the, if you had all your approvals in place, what's your plan for taking down the structures and building the house? Is this something now? Or it gets cold
You want to start
or next spring? I'm just curious as to,
As soon as possible, once I get the approval.
Board of Health will probably take a little while.
Yeah.
So,
this is gonna be a 4-bedroom house?
yes,
Okay,
With the timeline right now, we're looking at springtime.
okay. Yeah, 'cause obviously your septic has to comply with number of bedrooms.
Right.
So you know all that. Okay, Paul, we didn't have anybody. And Denise, we didn't have anybody who came on to wanted to comment in regard to this application?
No, we did not. Actually, though, I did get a call from one neighbor who actually was happy to hear that they were gonna build a house on that lot because they feel like the lot just doesn't complete the neighborhood. So I thought that was interesting.
we agree.
And they're gonna get rid of that little white
Little-
house there, which
Little
may,
cabin.
yeah, whatever it is, right, small building, okay. Okay,
What are you doing with those trees?
They're gonna remain. We're gonna remove the trees, open up the driveway, and
Wow.
it's actually a pretty nice tree line on each side of the lot, so
Yeah.
plan on remaining.
They're a little old in the tooth.
What's that?
I said they're a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
Those gonna wanna come down soon.
If they made it this far,
That's,
I mean,
those are ready to come
I
down.
mean, we've thrown all kinds of, Mother Nature's thrown all kinds of stuff at them.
Yeah, they're at the end of their life though.
Yes, but
Well, I'd say, it's not a zoning question, I'm just,
No.
if I were putting, $500,000 onto that property. I would wanna have that stand
Right.
slightly uphill from me, wanting to come down onto the house. But that will be me.
Well, right, and that's just why I had asked about trees initially, that if we are granting a side yard variance, very much like
Want
to see those
cover.
trees stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the plan. I mean, anything in bad shape while we're working there, we'll obviously deal with and take down and possibly replace. But the plan was to keep the existing tree line.
And you think you're gonna keep that tree line in front too?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, right. I think you want to keep most of it because the house is
gotta
set back.
take out the
Yeah,
tree anyway.
the house is set back pretty far, and it's just a 17-foot almost curb cut
Yep.
at the top of the property. So
Okay, I'm not so worried about those.
besides a tree being old or dead, there's really no reason to remove them.
Okay,
okay, so from us, you're looking for relief of 34,325 square feet for the lot size. You're looking for a width of the front lot line of 70.16 feet. Once again, both are significant, but
Yeah.
kind of is what it is, isn't it?
Yep.
And 2 side yards, you're looking for 28-foot variance. Yeah. Any further questions or comments from the board? Sir, do either of you have any more comments or anything else you'd like to say before we vote on the matter?
No, I think we're okay.
Good, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we ready to vote, gentlemen?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Can I have a motion as to type of action?
Type 2. Second.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye. I would like to ask for a motion in regard to the application. The only thing I would request is that our motion also include the agreement that both of the existing structures on the property would be torn down, the existing small house and the shed, so we don't have to hold the property. So do we have a motion in regard to the application? That's just my.
I'll make a motion to grant 3 variances. 34,325 square feet for the minimum size of lot. 70.16 feet of width at the front lot line. And 28-foot side yard variance with the condition that the existing structures be removed.
Can we say a 28-foot side yard variance for both side yards,
Okay.
just to be clear?
Modified as such?
Yep.
Okay.
I have
Denise,
it.
we need to just add,
Okay, do we have a second?
Second,
And can we add Victor's?
He did add.
I did.
I'm sorry.
Tearing down both structures.
amazing.
Yeah, but thank you.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Harden, Mr.
Aye.
Linsky, Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Congratulations, your application has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good luck with everything.
Thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
You too.
Next item on the agenda this evening is the approval of the September 17th, 20 minutes. The only thing we had a small change was the proposed garage size. I think we went to I think the current minutes say it's 24 by 24 feet, which is more in line with the original application. Any other changes, issues regarding the minutes? If not, I'm just going to approve by voice consensus. All in favor of the September 17th, 2024 minutes?
Excuse me, I have to recuse myself.
Arnie recuses. Everyone else?
I,
Aye.
I was not here.
You were not here?
You don't have to recuse yourself if you were not present at the meeting. I've had this discussion with the town attorney.
Okay,
Once the meeting is held, all of you, whether you were there or not, you get a draft of the meeting minutes. And that is what I'm required to give you and enables you to not have to recuse
Okay, good.
yourself.
thank you.
So
You're
all in
welcome.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we're going to consider the meeting minutes approved. Last thing that I have on the agenda is just to announce that our next meeting is once again, third Tuesday of the month, November 17th, 2024, right before Thanksgiving. And Denise, you did mention that we have at least 1 or 2 items on the agenda.
Yeah, I just want to correct, the
Is
19th?
it November 19th?
Yeah, I thought you said the 17th. The 17th is a Sunday.
Okay,
Well,
let me check here. Nope, November 19th, third Tuesday. Yep.
Okay. Yes, we have an application, a new application, on the agenda, and I'm hoping to get, Lafayette from last month's carryover back on by November or December at the latest.
Okay, great. Did anyone have anything else to discuss?
No, I'm good.
Matters? Okay, if we have nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting. And we'll see everybody here next month
19th.
on the 19th. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Good night.